Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and thank you for watching another video on Sonar Fishing. Today, just chilling here, the evening hangout on the hill. It's just me and Doppler. Katie is out of town, and just enjoying this evening view. We'll probably see some deer. I always bring my binoculars. The turkey have not been as prevalent. Just because it's the coldest months of the year, they tend to stick in the woods. But this is just one of the best places for me to just kind of decompress. Just got done organizing a lot of stuff in the shop, and this is my favorite spot to just hang out. When I'm not on the water, obviously. But anyways, figured I'd go ahead and just do a video and kind of talk about my thoughts about going back to the opens and kind of taking a step back as far as the level of fishing, not as far as the difficulty of fishing. Let me definitely say that right off the bat. I think the opens are actually one of the most competitive circuits out there. It's just not considered a tour level circuit. So it's right around the corner. The first one is I think a month and a half is when I end up leaving for that first event. The first one is at Lake Eufaula in Alabama. We've actually got two Lake Eufaula's on the schedule, one in Oklahoma, which I've never fished before. I'm really excited about that one. And then, of course, Lake Eufaula, Alabama, which will be the start. And so I honestly just started thinking about, fishing. I don't even have a boat right now, waiting on my 921 Phoenix from the factory. And so should have that in the next week or two, so we can get it up to bassboatelectronics.com and get it wrapped and everything. But yeah, just started thinking about fishing and just kind of reflecting on my pro circuit career and how profitable and just overall a great experience that was fishing at the tour level. But it's kind of a bittersweet deal going back to the opens. Okay, so I knew that the Bassmasters where I ultimately want to be. Going to the Classic and fishing the Elite Series, those are two very, very important platforms for me to attain in my career. And I know that, I grew up on the Bassmasters my whole life. That's where I really got passionate about fishing, was watching the Bassmasters, watching the Classic and stuff like that. So I knew eventually I'd want to make it over there. But to be quite honest, man, especially the first 2 years on the pro circuit, I was very, very content being at what was the FLW tour level. I'd fished FLW. The majority of the events I've fished in my career have been with FLW and now MLF. And honestly, it was the money was good. I was making good tournament winnings every year, on top of any sponsor contributions I have, and so overall it was very profitable. I was able to buy this dream property that we're developing. The money runs out pretty quick, I'll tell you that, but fishing the pro circuit was a lot of fun, and it definitely, I felt validated. I felt like I had finally made it, especially that first year when I fished the FLW Cup at Hot Springs. That was incredible. And being on that stage, having my family there to watch me on that stage was just a totally new level for me. And so yeah, I honestly, if I went back to 2019, I'd probably just be like, yeah, I could stay on the FLW tour my entire career and be happy. But the last couple of years that I've started to think about the making the Elite Series, but it just never made sense as far as the open qualification process. Prior to the EQ getting formed this year, you had to finish in the top 3 in one division. So that's out of like 200 and something, guys, which I'm not afraid of going out there and beating those type of odds. But because I was fishing the tour level and making, good money, when I made a check, it would be like a $10,000 check. That's a big deal. So never really felt like I needed to move. But once they announced the EQ, and I kind of got the feeling that changes were going to come pretty quick to the Pro Circuit, you know, I finally made that decision to you know, focus on my Elite Series and classic dreams as kind of my you know, main focus moving forward. So anyways, you know, on one hand, I always feel like following your dream, like what your ultimate dream is the most important. You know, don't get complacent, don't get distracted, you know, just focus on what your ultimate dream is. So on that side, I feel very, very good about going to the Opens and focusing on getting to the Elite Series and the Classic. It may be, you know, a multi-year process, you know, and even with the new qualification status, you still have to have a very, very good year to make it in the top 9, especially with close to 180 anglers fishing all 9 tournaments. To, you know, everybody wants to qualify for the elites. So on one hand, I'm very, you know, I'm very happy about the decision, and that I would say that's how I feel you know, for the majority of it. The only thing that bums me out about going back to the Opens, and again, you're only fishing the Opens to make the elites or the Classic. So, you know, I'm taking this time as kind of an investment in my future is how I'm treating the Opens. But the one thing I will miss from fishing like the Pro Circuit, which is now the Invitationals, is those big checks. You know, those $10,000 plus checks are, they went a long way fishing at that level, and that's where you can actually make money. The Opens are pretty difficult to make you know, make a profit on, to be honest. But fortunately, I've got great sponsor support, so you know, I feel comfortable going into the Opens to where, you know, if I don't make any money, which is, you know, hopefully that doesn't happen, but you know, you never know what can happen. You could finish in 41st in every event and still not make a cent as far as winnings. But, you know, winnings are definitely not something that I put into the equation. I really try to keep winnings out of the equation, you know, prior to a season, just because you never know how much you're going to make, if anything. I haven't had a season where I haven't made anything, but, you know, it can happen. I had, you know, my worst year yet on the Pro Circuit last year in 2022. And so I saw that anything can happen. But overall, it's just a little bit bitter as far as the fact that I'm just not going to be able to make as much money potentially. Now, I could win one and get, like, you know, close to that $50,000 prize, and I could get several top 10s. So I'm not saying that I'm not going to make as much, if not more, than the Pro Circuit over the last 4 years, but the odds of it are lower. So that is kind of the downer to this. And also there's just less media coverage overall. Now, part of that is my job, to go out there and, you know, to work with outdoor writers for Bassmaster and other publications, and you know, reach out to people that have podcasts and things like that. Working with the media is a big part of that. And so I can, you know, it may be a struggle, you know, to just, you know, lay around waiting for somebody to call you for some media exposure, but you can go out there and get it. So I'm not too worried about that. But, you know, let's be real. Going back to the Opens is kind of a step down as far as the overall, you know, hierarchy of the sport. However, I am going to say it again. I don't see it as a step down for me as far as my career and my growth in the career. I really think that any time I'm moving towards my ultimate goals, that's positive movement. So honestly, going back to the Opens, as much as I'll miss for the short term while I'm fishing the Opens, those big payouts, I'm definitely all in on, you know, going to that circuit to be able to make the Elite Series and the Classic, where I want to stay for my entire career. So anyways, guys, those are just some thoughts running through my head, you know, just kind of reflecting upon my decisions and the upcoming season. Let me know what you think about my change going from the you know, the Pro Circuit, now the Invitationals, to the Bassmaster Opens to make the Elite Series and be part of the EQ. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and also make sure you check out fishthemoment.com. I've been working with them. We've got these great virtual lessons, so you can actually, book an hour with me. Usually it ends up being a little bit more than an hour, but I can't promise you, too much more than an hour. But we can talk about anything. We can talk about a tournament lake or a tournament that you're going to, and talk about how to break that lake down. Whatever it is, you've got me for an hour to talk fishing. So check out fishthemoment.com, go to the virtual lessons, and it's really a great way for us to connect. So anyways, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'm going to see you out on the water or just out here on the hill.